Kazakhstan established and developed relationships with more than 140 countries worldwide. The country is a member of over 60 international organizations. Kazakhstan is an open and friendly partner, the initiator of the various integration processes in the world community, always ready to create the conditions for global dialogue. Since the establishment of diplomatic relations between Great Britain and Kazakhstan in 1992, cooperation between the two countries has been developing in all sectors: politics, trade, economics, culture, and education. The economy sectors a place of a particular active interaction. Today, Great Britain occupies one of the leading positions in terms of direct investment in our country. More than 600 enterprises operate in the most diverse areas: oil and gas, energy, mining, construction, health, transport, and communications. British partners export to Kazakhstan technical equipment, chemical products, textiles, food products. Kazakhstan in turn sends mineral products, wool, leather raw materials, precious and semi-precious metals to the UK. No less intensive cooperation between the two countries is noticeable in the sphere of education. One of the annual joint projects is in the international competition for scientific communication FAME Lab, organized by the British Council in Kazakhstan. This event, for the second time, brought together young scientists from all regions of Kazakhstan. Within 3 minutes, complex scientific concepts were explained in an accessible, capacious and brief form.
Мы как организаторы очень довольны. Во-первых, мы увидели очень качественные.
We are organizers are very happy. First of all, we saw very high-quality speeches, very high-quality performances. It was very interesting. I think everyone enjoyed it, and the spectators and organizers and the participants themselves. We gathered a full hall. It was encouraging to see how young people are interested in science. We gathered in such a beautiful building, and naturally we feel proud of Kazakhstan's science. We have faith in its bright future, and we plan to organize such events on an annual basis.
И мы планируем в дальнейшем проводить это на ежегодной основе.
FAME Lab was founded in 2005 and now has the status of the world's leading competition in the field of scientific communication. The event's main goal is to popularize science among the broad masses, increasing general interest and changing the prevailing stereotype that science is very difficult. The final of the contest in Astana was held among 10 Kazakh scientists at Nazarbayev University. The main thematic areas are medicine, sociology, modern technologies. Despite the fact that the time constraints of presentations were tough, the participants coped with their task.
FAME Lab — это платформа и площадка для того, чтобы развивать.
FAME Lab is a forum and platform for developing and encouraging the ability of its students to communicate their ideas, projects, science to an unprepared person. The further the civilization develops, the further technologies develop. That knowledge of the fundamentals of processes that lies so on the foundation of what is happening on the internet. Genetic engineering is able to cure previously incurable diseases. All these people want to understand, and often it needs to be understood in order to continue to make some adequate decisions and continue to lead the right way of life. This all requires some skills in understanding of the scientific foundations on the one hand.
Адекватные решения и вести, так сказать, правильный образ жизни и так далее, это все требует понимания каких-то научных основ. И с одной стороны.
On the other hand, the ability of scientists to protect their projects affects the issues of financing, which affects the implementation of the idea. To keep pace with the rapid pace of globalization and scientific discoveries, it is necessary to communicate effectively. The format of the contest is very laconic. The speaker presents his scientific concept, after which the jury asks him questions and shares his impressions. Speech, at the same time, is judged by the qualities of the finalist: confidence, charisma, and compliance with the rules. The participants of the contest who reached the finals had an opportunity to listen to a short course on the subject of the international competition.
Мы прошли через двухдневный тренинг о том, как преподносить такую информацию.
We went through a 2-day training on how to bring this information to people from different spheres. I expected to learn something. This is something new, and try myself already here in the finals, as I can clearly understand the very difficult conceptual structure of blockchain so that it can be understood from absolutely different spheres.
На самом деле очень непростую концептуально структуру блокчейна, чтобы ее поняли люди с абсолютно разных сфер.
And I think it's an enormous tribute to the 10 participants we had tonight, the high standard of the presentations they gave and how much I personally learned. I think it's also a really good example of cooperation in science in particular between the UK and Kazakhstan. There are lots and lots of links between British universities and Kazakh universities across a whole range of scientific fields where researchers are working on everything from medical breakthroughs to archaeology.
There are still other joint Kazakh-British projects in the field of education. Seminars on entrepreneurship were held at 2 colleges of Astana. The main speakers were representatives of the British College Westminster Kingsway.
The workshop today with the National Chamber of Entrepreneurs was to share good practice with the Chamber in terms of the work that we are doing in the UK with our employers. It was to talk about how we engage with employers to ensure that we can manage the expectations of colleges, because employers are busy people. So it was to give examples of how we're able to do that, and then to give examples of the sorts of projects and the sorts of involvement that our employers have been having with the college, which have ranged from coming in and giving talks about their companies and the sorts of skills that matter, because employers have a voice on this. Employers know what sort of workforce they need and want, and it's vital that young people hear that message clearly from their employers. Some employers go further than that. Some employers will actually give colleges a professional project for the students to work on that will count towards the students' program of study.
Representatives of the National Chamber of Entrepreneurs Atamiken shared their plans for the future.
Этот международный проект, который стартовал еще с прошлого года, 16-го, между колледжами Астаны и двумя.
This international project, which started last year in 2016 between colleges of Astana, a multidisciplinary and vocational school, as well as the Westminster Kingsway. I think this will give a new impetus to the development of the skills of the foundations of entrepreneurship. The point is that the goal of this project is to integrate the foundations of entrepreneurship into educational programs related to the hotel and food service organizations. Having tested this methodology, the curricula, together with our partners from England, we will probably replicate this experience throughout Kazakhstan.
Опробировав данную методику, то есть учебные планы совместно с нашими партнерами из Англии, возможно, будет тиражировать этот опыт по всему Казахстану.
The opinion of the issue was also expressed by the employer's side.
Сам работодатель наиболее глубоко понимает.
The employer himself understands, most of all, the need for modern trained personnel in the prepared colleges. The employer must understand that he is the one who should dictate the agenda. If he does not explain today and explain to colleges, the representatives of the college, to the teachers, what kind of knowledge is needed at the job market, the skills that are needed, all this information would be of a great help to the representatives of the college. This will make their work more effective. Therefore, today's roundtable discussion shows how interested the employer in getting qualified personnel. Cooperation between the two countries is mutually beneficial. The Kazakh side adapts the educational program to the realities and demands of today.
There are a number of benefits for Westminster Kingsway College, as I shared. Kazakhstan is a market that we were very keen to enter into. We recognise it as being a market which is moving and developing very quickly, and it's one in the future we wish to continue our partnership and our work in, and we understand that vocational education is a priority for the government, and there is many initiatives in place.
Currently, the British Embassy is selecting the applications of Kazakhstani students for an educational grant.
One of the things that we offer at the moment is we have a scheme called Chevening Scholarships. So we send 8 Kazakh postgraduate students a year to the UK. We sponsor them as the British government, and they can go and study anything from law to sociology.
Cooperation in education is also conducted within Kazakhstan and Palestine. The embassy is actively working to establish a dialogue on various directions.
I can see again that we have a historic relationship between Kazakhstan and Palestine, and we are here to develop the relationship in different fields, in political, as Kazakhstan became 1st of January member of Security Council, and we believe that Kazakhstan can play a very important role to have peace, not only in Middle East, in different regions in the world. And in economic affairs also, we are trying to do our best to encourage the private sector to come to Kazakhstan and to have investments, and thanks God we succeed. We succeed, and many businessmen and big companies, they are already here in Kazakhstan and they start investments. And we have excellent cooperation with different Kazakh institutions concerning the investments.
One such company is a construction company operating in more than 40 countries. The company has been operating in Kazakhstan since 1998, and during this time has built many large facilities. Among them are Karachaganak, Kashagan and Tingis. The company's management actively supports the education sector by launching various kinds of projects. For example, opening an auditorium named after the president and co-founder of this construction company at the University of Kazgu.
We as a company have it very important for us, wherever we have worked, to make a very strong association with the education sector. Education being schools, being university, because we think the future of any country lies in the education. And the Middle East, like Kazakhstan, have a very big population of people under 20-25. So you have to educate them well, and if you give them the proper type of exposure and education, this is a very good boost for the economy and for the country.
The auditorium in the building of the university was re-equipped technically to promote the development of youth education in Kazakhstan and to strengthen the international dialogue within our country and Palestine. During the grand opening of the auditorium, Mr. Samir Said Kuri was awarded the title of Honorary Doctor of Kazgu.
I'm an honorary director of many universities around the world. Basically, we can do two things. We can share some of our experience and send some people to make some lectures. The other thing, we can do exchange program from other universities. And this could help both the Kazakh student and the international student. As we mentioned, it's very important to exchange culture and to advocate the culture of coexistence, whether it's religion, whether it's nationality.
And now the international construction company is implementing a very ambitious project, a multifunctional complex of Abu Dhabi Plaza, which costs more than $1 billion. The hotel on the territory of the complex is planned to be opened by the beginning of the International Exhibition Expo 2017.
Сегодня они, значит, вкладывают также, как благотворительность у них есть.
Today they're investing as a charity. They're building the same auditoriums around the world, including the strongest universities in the world. Today they open an auditorium in our university. We have been developing this direction since last year. It is very well developed in the US. It's called the endowment. It means that companies that are successful in the market can invest in education. Therefore, this direction is very important for us. We already have a number of registered auditoriums in our university.
Это направление у нас ведется уже с прошлого года, и уже ряд именных аудиторий было открыто в нашем университете.
In the immediate plans of Palestine, to further develop the interaction between the two countries, especially with regard to investing in the Kazakhstan economy.
Of course, we have planned for very important projects, investments here. We have negotiations now between our companies and your companies and your leadership, and we have many projects in different places, in Astana, in different places, concerning tourism, concerning constructions, concerning oil and gas. We have a lot of things, and the most important thing, and our businessmen, they encourage Arab businessmen from the different Arab countries also to be partners, to have investments here.
The Embassy of Palestine also organizes cultural events in Kazakhstan. Recently, Mr. Ambassador Muntasir Abu Zaid held a reception in honor of the International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people, which was attended by representatives of the Foreign Ministry of Kazakhstan and foreign diplomatic missions. During the event, the high importance of bilateral relations for both countries was noted. This year, the state of Kuwait celebrates the 56th anniversary of Independence Day and the 26th anniversary of the liberation of the country. In his speech at the solemn reception in honor of the significant dates, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Kuwait in Kazakhstan, Tariq Abdullah Al-Faraj, noted that since gaining independence in 1961, the path of the modern state of Kuwait is based on the principles of human and family development, protection of freedom and equality, and well-being of the people and the whole country. I would like to express my sincere congratulations on the occasion of the 25th anniversary of the independence of the Republic of Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan, during these years, was able to realize achievements and go through the stages of development, in many respects exceeding the real age of the country. Thus, Kazakhstan has become a country with a special position at the international and regional level, which deserves respect and has become a place for resolving global and regional conflicts.
وكل ثقة بأنها ستعمل على تحقيق المبادرات التي انطلقت منها منذ استقلالها في شأن الأمن والسلم العالمي والإقليمي.
Kuwait is actively involved in the global issues of peacemaking and humanitarian assistance. The United Nations chose Kuwait as the World Humanitarian Center. As part of confirming the role of the state in contributing to the world humanitarian action, 3 conferences of donor countries were held in the country to assist the Syrian people, and the state participated in the 4th conference. The amount of the country's donations for the same purposes reached $1.6 billion. During the reception, the ambassador noted that the world community appreciated the activities of the Kuwait Economic Development Fund, which was established in 1961. As part of the implementation of a large-scale project, financial and technical assistance is provided to developing countries to grow their economies. Currently, the foundation operates in 105 countries. Kuwait attaches great importance to cooperation with Kazakhstan. Today's evening, the reception is like a mixture of symbiosis of 2 peoples, because the orchestra, in which Kazakhstan musicians play the beautiful national music of our country. These melodies lie deeply in our hearts and sink into the soul. We have a very interesting, colorful culture, an original kitchen, and the clothes that you see on me are the national clothes of Kuwait. Today our reception was visited by a lot of officials. We are honored to receive the Vice Minister of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Kazakhstan. The ambassadors are Kazakhstani and Arab friends. This year, the countries celebrate 2-year anniversary since the opening of the embassies in 2 countries. But the international dialogue was established much earlier. In 1997, after the visit of Nursultan Nazarbayev to the state of Kuwait, the cooperation of the countries began within the framework of the Kazakhstan-Kuwait Intergovernmental Commission. This intergovernmental committee was established at the level of vice ministers. This is an economic and cultural committee. Its main activities are economy, trade, tourism, and other issues. The Commission gathers once a year. The purpose of the work of the committee is the organization of systematic work on mutually beneficial cooperation. On the basis of this, several agreements were signed, the most important of which was the issue of taxation, also the expansion and protection of investments between countries, and several other agreements that are now being implemented. To increase tourism between the 2 countries, the embassy is working on the issue of visas. As for the trade turnover between our countries, according to Mr. Ambassador, the results are not as high as the countries would like. However, Kuwait has already begun to import Kazakh meat, lamb and beef. Since Kazakhstan has developed agriculture, the country intends to invest in this sector. For other aspects of Kazakhstan's cooperation with different countries of the world, join the next Global Talk.